Hi everyone. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about solving exponent word problems. So the first thing we need to talk about is something called compound interest. And compound interest is the amount of time interest is given per year. And interest is a funny word. That could mean either getting money or taking money away. So it's more like a kickback, right? An additional amount of money. So interest is money earned by a percentage. Or it could be money given by a percentage. And we'll talk more about what that means in class. But for today, let's just look at the examples and how to work through them. So example number 1 says, David bought a new car that costs $25,000. The car depreciates, right? Fancy word of depreciate means to lose value. So he bought a new car that costs $25,000 and the car loses value 7% of its value annually. So this word annually means every year or one time per year. So they want to know, what would the car be worth in 10 years? So there's a formula that you can use to solve this. So if the problem says annually or says once a year, then you're going to use this formula. So let's write down the formula underneath. So we've got A equals P 1 plus or minus R to the T power. So the A is the ending amount, P is your starting amount, T is your time in years, and R is your rate expressed as a decimal. So if he bought the new car that costs $25,000, this $25,000 is going to be the starting amount. That's how much he paid for the car in the beginning. So we can go ahead and label that. So I just put start and then P. And then it loses, we said 7% annually. So 7% is the rate, right? Rate is a percentage, but we need to put this in as a decimal when you use your equation. So 7% is the same thing as saying 7.0%. And when we change a percent to a decimal, we want to move the decimal place 2 places to the left and put a 0 as a placeholder. So it's 0.07. You don't need the 0, but 0.07 as a decimal. This 0 I meant that you don't need. So now we're ready to go. We want to find A. What will the car be worth in 10 years? Obviously, 10 is going to be my time. What will the car be worth, or what will the ending amount be, right? What will the car be? So we want A, given that the P is my starting value of 25,000. 1. Now this plus or minus nonsense. If the car is losing value, we're going to definitely use the minus. If something were gaining value, we would use the plus. So 1 minus my rate R, which is the 0.07, and we want to raise that to the T power years, which is 10. So take a couple seconds, throw that into the calculator, and hit resume when you're ready for the answer. All right, so I got 12,099.55768. Now, we can talk money, right, and round it to the nearest cent. How much is the car going to be worth? So we'll say $12,099.56. So after 10 years, the car decreases to nearly half, right? Half of 25,000 is close to, 12.5, so it's pretty close. All right, so let's take a look at example number 2. So it says, Amelia invested her savings at Chase Bank. She initially deposited $2,000. So initially mean the starting value. So my starting value, P, is equal to 2,000, right? Initially, initial is my start. She put $2,000 into a savings account that earns 3% interest. So this 3% is my rate. So let's actually go ahead and write that. So my rate is 3%, which we know can we write as 3.0. We've got to move the decimal 2 places to the left and fill in a placeholder. So 0.03 would be my rate. So it also then says she leaves her money in the account and makes no additional deposits, puts money in, or withdrawals, takes money out. How much interest will she earn if she leaves the money in the account for 10 years? So same scenario, 10 is my time in years. So we're going to put T equals 10. So in the problem, you don't really hear them say annually like they did in example number 1 with David. It says value annually, right? So you have to kind of look at the 3 problems that you have here: annually, semi-annually, continuously, right? So they're not saying continuously. So we know that it can't be this one. And they didn't say anything like semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, or daily, so we're not going to use this one. So we still are going to use this annual formula, although that they don't say it. And it's really process of elimination. And it's really also because the interest rate, it should be 3% interest annually. But if they leave it out, that's okay. So we're going to start with the formula that we used before. A equals P, 1 plus or minus R to the T. So we have an initial value of $2,000. That's going to go in for my P. And we want to solve for A, the ending amount. And this time we're going to choose to use the plus. Why? Because they're talking about her money investing it. Usually when you invest money, you want the money to grow. So we're going to make it increase for that situation. So plus, my interest rate is 0.03 and my time is 10 years. So take a second and plug this into the calculator just the way you see it, and then hit resume when you're ready for the answer. Okay, so I got $2,687.83. Now, this is a rounded number. There were more decimal places, but I figured we could just stop there. So the question isn't asking the ending amount. So this, what you just found, is the ending amount that she earned in her account after 10 years. So the question is asking more specifically, how much interest did she earn? How much interest did she earn over the past 10 years? So interest would be found by taking the new amount, the 2687.83, and subtracting the initial amount, and the initial amount was 2,000. So if you subtract them, you should get $687.83. So this amount extra that she earned is called your interest. So that's the interest, whereas this is the ending amount. So be careful if the question asks for ending amount or if it asks for interest. Okay, so we haven't actually touched upon these last 2 formulas, which I'd like to now, through example number 3. So Nick invests $5,000 at a bank offering 1.5% interest rate. Find the amount to the nearest cent of the investment at the end of 5 years if it's compounded one of these ways. So annually is the way that we just did it using this formula. So you can do this one for homework. We're not going to go over that one again. Let's do a semi-annually. So what semi-annually means is that I'm going to give you interest 2 times per year. So we've added, this formula looks very similar to this formula, except we've added this value n. So the n is the number of compounds per year. So if it's semi-annually, I am giving you interest 2 times a year. So that must mean my n is equal to 2. So we have to write the formula. A equals P, 1 plus R over n to the nt power. So we have invested $5,000. That is your P. That is your beginning amount. My interest rate, I need to move 2 places to the left, is 0.015. That goes in for my R. And they want to know how much is made after 5 years. 5 is time. 5 will be T. So we can plug in. We want to know how much is going to be made. What's my ending amount? Ending amount is A. So we're going to say the starting amount is $5,000. That's your P. 1 plus my rate of 0.015. divided by n. This is the number of compounds. I'm telling you it's semi-annually, which means twice a year. So 2, and then 2 times 5, because my years is 5. So all we're really doing is just plugging into the formula. So take a second, plug all of this into your calculator just the way you see it, making sure you're using alpha y equals for this part, and then hit resume when you're ready for the answer. All right, so you should get $5,387.91 approximately. So if I'm giving you interest 2 times per year, you're going to earn $5,387.91. So if I tell you that I want to give you interest quarterly, then all that does is I'm going to give you interest 4 times per year. Think of your 4 quarters. If I'm giving you interest monthly, that means I'm going to give you interest every single month, and there are 12 months in a year. If I'm giving you interest daily, that means I'm going to give you interest every single day, which is 365. So for homework, I'd like you guys to try the quarterly, the monthly, and the daily as well, and see what you get. You want to use the same exact formula that you used here. All right. And then what I'd like to do is this last one together where I'm asking you what type of money you'll get if you're compounding continuously. So you'll look up here, there is a new formula when you see the word continuous. So continuously means that you're getting interest all the time. It's pretty much better than daily. The more interest you get, the better it is for you. So we're going to use this formula here for compounding continuously. So we've got A equals P e to the RT. P is still my initial amount, which is 5,000. E is a number on the calculator. I'll show you how to get to that. R is my rate, 0.015, and time is still 5 years. So to get to this E in the calculator, you actually have to hit the second and the divide button. So that is what will give you the E. So go ahead, plug this into the calculator just the way you see it, and then hit resume when you're ready for the answer. All right, so you should be getting 5389.42. So $5,389.42. So that's kind of it for today. What I'd really like for you guys to do is really try these problems for homework. Because tomorrow when you come in, I'd really like to analyze all 6 of these options and see which option is the best for you. All right. If you have questions, jot them down and please ask us in class tomorrow. Have a good night.